Well, hello and welcome to our front yard garden here in the South Carolina upstate. This is September 27th, 2025, our first video of the fall officially. And this is our 30th episode this year. Started back in February, and we're going to keep going until there's nothing more to see. But for right now, as you can see here at our mailbox bed where we always start, we got a lot of zinnias. That's about it in this bed. Lots of different colors. They are fully grown at this point. Some of them are full 6 feet in height. Most of them are at least 4 feet. And certainly you can get zinnias of all different sizes, some that are only a foot tall. But my wife planted all these back in the wintertime. She's always liked the tall ones, and you can see why. It really is has kind of a nice impact on the house. And we have quite a few of them in different areas, and all these different colors, the oranges and yellows, pinks, even white, red, purple, you name it. And they're all doing very, very well. These all came up from seed. And you get to this point in the year, the plants themselves start to look kind of crummy. The leaves start to die off, but the greenery at the top makes it worthwhile, at least in my view. But these will probably start to wither over the next month. I doubt we'll get any new flowers after Halloween, but time will tell. And then we'll see another batch of zinnias. Now, for whatever reason, these are not as tall. These only are about 3 to 4 feet in height, and I don't know why the difference. They all came from the same batch. Lots more of the reds here. I mean, brilliant red, and pink, and some of these are fading out, yellows, etc. Now, I did deadhead these to some extent. I need to deadhead some more. Hopefully I'll get a chance this weekend. But they look a little better having done that. Also, I kind of bypassed this, but this is our little petite knockout rose. I deadheaded this as well, and we're getting some new flowers as a result. A lot of leaves too, which is nice. So the plant itself, which was really looking kind of sad over the middle of the summer when it got so hot, it's looking pretty good again. And this is about as big as it's going to get, probably 2.5 feet tall. So it's not an impact plant, but it's a nice little rose, and it does put out some additional color. Now behind everything else is a whole batch of black-eyed Susans, these yellow flowers. These have just come up kind of on their own. We had a bunch of them that we planted in the backyard, and somehow the seeds got transported up here, probably by birds, and they've really spread out over the last couple of years. And it's a real blessing, because this time of year, most other things in this area are not doing anything. So it gives us some additional color besides the zinnias. It kind of hidden in the midst of all that is also this Russian sage, these delicate purple little flowers. There's not much of those though, and they don't, again, they're not an impact type plant. So you don't see much unless you're really close up with those. And then back here we have climbing roses, which are done for the year. We also have up here a dahlia, which did give us a couple of really nice flowers over the summer. A couple buds here that are growing. I don't know if they'll get a chance to come out before the end of the summer, but we'll see. And then over here, this is all pretty much spring and early summer. Our hydrangeas here certainly are done for the year. Most of the former flowers are just slowly fading and gradually turning brown, but they'll come back next year. And then I always like to show off our little citrus grove here. We have 2 lemons growing here. One about probably 3.5, 4 inches in length, and the other one about 3 inches in length, a little bit smaller. Those are the only 2 that we've gotten out of all these plants. This is an orange tree here, and this is another lemon over here. But none of those have really done anything. It'll probably be sometime over the winter when these lemons ripen. They usually take, a good 6 months. So I'm not expecting anything soon, and I will take those in to into the porch or into the house itself to survive the winter. More hydrangeas over here and some viburnum, all spring flowers. Nothing really going on right now. These are the gladiolas that we were putting in back in February on our first episode, and they're all long since finished up. We had some Asiatic lilies as well. They're all done. And then over this way, again, mostly spring-oriented bed, lots of azaleas. I still think that these will give us some flowers at some point this fall. We had a few little flowers on this one, actually a couple of these recently, but I think we'll get more before the end of the year, and then again in the spring. What else do we have? Our butterfly bush is now officially done, as is our crepe myrtle tree. This was blooming as of a couple weeks ago, but it's done now. And then, as I say, the butterfly bush here still had a little bit of color last week, but it's finished up, and I'm going to try to cut that back next spring so that it gives us some nice colors again. This is our group of 5 knockout roses. I did deadhead these finally, but I think it was a little too late. This is about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm not seeing any new growth, and just a handful of flowers at this point. So again, that's a primarily primarily spring flower. Not a whole lot to see at this point in the year. And we have some salvia up here in our oval bed. These have again primarily a spring flower, but they did come back once the weather cooled down a little bit. And by cooled down, that's all relative. Here in South Carolina, today it's about 75 degrees, and that's quite a bit cooler than we've had here in the last couple of weeks. Last week we were well up in the 80s pretty much every day. And we finally got some rain in the last couple of days too. We've gone about 3 weeks with no rain at all, and it did make a difference. A lot of our plants started to kind of finish off for the year. Got some more zinnias here. These are dahlias. I think they're pretty much done for the season. And then some more zinnias up here. We have a lot of other things in this bed, daylilies and other things, but they're all finished up. And just since last week, this knockout rose, which had a whole mess of coral roses like this, that most of those are gone. A few pink ones over here, and that's just about it for this bed. There's really not much else going on here at this point. Everything else is finished up. I've tried to trim back some of this so that it's not draped out into the lawn like it was for so long, but probably too little too late, I think, as far as keeping these going. Like these knockout roses, if I had deadheaded these all through the year, we probably would have some more flowers right now. Some of our neighbors who have been a little more on top of their roses have been deadheading, and they still are getting lots of flowers right now. So that's about it. The front yard garden is just sort of slowly doing its fall fade. There's a little more to show off in the backyard, and we're going to do that on the follow-up video. But still definitely some color, definitely enough to make it worth looking at every week for another month or so. And so until next time, I hope it's sunny wherever you are, and happy gardening.